Good evening, my name is Anna Willard, and this is my discussion for Chapter 7. This unit has grown on me a lot. It was so interesting to learn more about and just get to know everything about the music during this time. I would have never thought that I would enjoy learning more about music in the ways that we learn, and I think I'm learning to like it more and more. Near the beginning of the 20th century, numerous composers began to repel against emotionalism and the romantic composers. So they basically came together, they emerged, and they used all this stuff to just come up with new chords and scales and colors and expressions, and they developed the basis of all this and just brought it all together, and it just came all together and just made a whole. So there was a few styles talked about during this century, but I chose the American style and minimalism. The American style you see later in the chapter. It's more like jazz. It's uniquely is like the American style. American composers became aware of jazz during the 20th century, which is what we learn about in this section. And it's just, they had such brilliant talent. And one main person is George Gershwin. Gershwin was a brilliant talent. He dropped out of school when he was 15 to become a professional pianist, which he did in New York in the Tin Pan Alley. After several years of success as a performer and composer, he was asked by the famous leader Paul Witzmann to compose the work and raise people's jazz performing art. This made so many different piano orchestras just come together as one. Minimalism is a movement that began in New York. It was like the 1960s. It struck more in the early 20th centuries. Minimalist composers saw detail to music and more fundamental to music. Instead of featuring rhythm, they wanted to establish the steady meter. And unlike the 12-tone music, in which avoid repeats of all chords, they composed and they didn't try to repeat things. They tried to just change it up and slow it down through all the small varieties of everything. They also composed, I know this is a fun fact, they composed glass during this time. Glass composed pieces were small, wide instruments, voices and organ, and the music and the instruments, they just all came together. So throughout this unit, I learned more about the jazz music in the 20s, but in my opinion, I like the American style better just because jazz just gets the rhythm and just makes you feel like the beat. Like, it's just so good to just listen to and hear it in your ears. Thank you.